For many people, age is just a number, but the older you get, the more upsetting it is seeing people younger than you doing things you could only dream of achieving. In football, you get to an age where most of the players you're watching are younger than you, making you wonder what you've actually managed to achieve in your life. As for the footballers, some have achieved some sensational things despite their tender age, so today we're going to look at the youngest goal scorer from every major division in world football, and the Championship. The Premier League, James Vaughan. The Everton Academy product became the Premier League's youngest ever goal scorer in April 2005, finding the net in a 4-0 win for the Toffees over Crystal Palace, with his goal coming at the age of 16 years, 8 months and 27 days, beating the record held by James Milner, who was still the league's second youngest scorer from his Leeds days. As for Vaughan, he would go on to score another 6 goals for his boyhood club before joining Norwich in 2011, and since then he's never scored in the top flight again, and he hasn't played there since his first season with the Canaries. Now aged 30, Vaughan is a forward for Championship side Wigan Athletic, where he won promotion from League One last season. The Championship, Ryan Sessegnon. While we're covering English football, we might as well mention the Championship, because even though it's not a top tier league, it still holds a special place in a lot of our hearts, and one player that dominated the Championship last season was a baby known as Ryan Sessegnon. But if you thought he was young last year, just hear how young he was when he scored his first Championship goal. Born in the year 2000, Sessegnon scored against Cardiff on August 20th, 2016 when he was just 16 years, 3 months and 2 days old. 2 years on, he's a Premier League player after scoring a whopping 15 goals during Fulham's promotion charge last season, which is disgusting. Why isn't he just at school like the rest of them? La Liga, Fabrice Alinga. The Cameroonian forward is now 22 years of age and playing for Mouscron in the Belgian First Division, but 6 years earlier he was a La Liga player for Malaga, who signed him from Real Mallorca in 2011. Olinga's one and only La Liga goal came against Celta Vigo, grabbing the only goal of the game at just 16 years, 3 months and 6 days old, breaking Ike Munyain's record. However, while Munyain is still playing in La Liga, Alinga managed just 10 league appearances for Malaga before being shipped off to Limassol in 2014. Serie A, Emidio Amadi. A Roma legend, Emidio Amadi became theirs in the Serie A's youngest ever goal scorer way back in 1937 when he was 15 years, 9 months and 13 days old. Before you were born, hell even before your parents were born. Your grandparents might have been alive though, but it was still ages ago. Amadi's first and record holding goal came in a 5-1 defeat, but he would go on to score 115 goals for the club in 228 league appearances. He would also make more than 100 appearances for Napoli, retiring in 1956. At the age of 92, Amadi would pass away on November 24, 2013. His record remains intact, with the only modern player to come close being Pietro Pellegrini, who scored for Genoa at the age of 16 years, 2 months and 11 days last May, ironically against Roma, and he has since signed for Monaco. Ligue 1, Neil Maupay. A name familiar with Championship fans, Brentford forward Neil Maupay holds a piece of history back in France, as he looks to be part of history now in England with the Bees performing well in the Championship as they go in search of promotion. The youngest ever scorers in Ligue 1 include some big names, with the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Nicolas Anelka appearing in the top 10, but no one was younger than Neil Maupay when he bagged his first Ligue 1 goal for Nice back in 2012. At 16 years, 4 months and a day old, Maupay became the division's youngest scorer ahead of Mbaye Niang, who had took the title a year earlier. Ligue 1 goals were hard to come by for Maupay, but he certainly hasn't struggled since arriving in England with Brentford. Bundesliga, Nuri Sahin. Our oldest youngest scorer so far, Nuri Sahin was an ancient 17 years, 2 months and 21 days old when he scored for Dortmund against Nuremberg to become the Bundesliga's youngest ever scorer. It was a goal that came back in 2005, which just makes you realise how long Nuri Sahin has been around, and he's actually not a youngster at all anymore at the age of 29. Sahin's records came close to tumbling in the past few years, with Julian Draxler, Timo Werner and Christian Pulisic scoring their first league goal at an age just a few months older than the Turkey international was. Scottish Premiership, Jack Aitchison. Another millennial like Ryan Sessegnon, Jack Aitchison was also born in the year 2000 and also holds the record as the division's youngest ever scorer, with his only league goal for Celtic. Ultimately, it was a goal that didn't matter too much, with Aitchison finding the net in a 7-0 rout against Motherwell in May 2016, in what was his first appearance for the club, and he managed to score with his first touch, which is actually pretty damn impressive. As well as being the Scottish Premiership's youngest scorer, he's also Celtic's youngest ever first team player and youngest scorer, so at just 18 the lad has a fair few records to his name already. Let's just hope we're still talking about him in 10 years time. Eredivisie, Henk Medema Jr. I mean, I can't even get any pictures of this guy, it was that long ago, but Medema Jr. apparently is the Dutch league's youngest ever scorer thanks to his goal for the previous incarnation of Groningen back in 1956, when he was just 15 years, 11 months and 23 days old. It's a record that stood for more than 60 years, with the closest player this century being Rakero Zivkovic, who scored for the same club at the age of 16 years, 10 months and 29 days back in 2013. Turkish Super League, Enes Ünal. A name that Manchester City fans might know, Enes Ünal spent 2 years contracted at the Etihad, and they signed the Turkish striker after he became the youngest ever scorer in the Super League, finding the net for Bursaspor at the age of just 16 years, 3 months and 15 days. In 2015 he joined City for £2 million, but his time in Manchester was spent not in Manchester, going out on loan to Genk, Breda and then Twente before joining Villarreal permanently in 2017, where he's now embarking on a second loan spell away from the club at Real Valladolid. Still just 21, there's probably a canny few more loan spells coming in Enes Ünal's way. Russian Premier League, Yano Ananids. A name most people probably won't be familiar with, I'm certainly not. Yano Ananids is a Georgian attacking midfielder who spent his full first-team career at Spartak Moscow, making his debut back in 2009. His record-breaking goal would come in October 2009, scoring a 3-0 win for Spartak Moscow against Lokomotiv. His goal knocked Alexander Salyugin off top spot, whose goal at the age of 17 years and 27 days was beaten by the 17 years and 8 days old Ananids. Portuguese Liga NOS, Gonçalo Brandão. The youngest ever goalscorer in the top flight of Portuguese football as a centre-back, and that is pretty impressive. Gonçalo Brandão was just 17 years and 9 days when he scored a meaningless goal for Belenenses in a 4-1 defeat at the hands of Porto back in 2003. Since then, Brandão has not really been amongst the goals, netting just one more league goal in his career. Interestingly, he would grace our shores during his career, joining Charlton Athletic on loan back in 2005, where he didn't play a minute. Chinese Super League, Zhu Binzhao. Our oldest youngest player, Zhu Binzhao, became the youngest scorer in the Chinese Super League back in 2012, when he scored the only goal of the game in the 89th minute for Dalian Shire against Henan Jian at the ripe age of 18 years, 4 months and 9 days. It was his only goal for the club, and he now plays for Dalian Yifang, who won promotion back to the Chinese Super League last year. And finally, MLS Freddie Adu. From the oldest to the youngest, Freddie Adu is a name you'll all be familiar with, and is one of those players that was so hyped when he was younger, his fall down the footballing ladder was all the more spectacular. When Freddie Adu scored his first ever senior goal, the man, or boy, was just 14 years, 10 months and 15 days old. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? The goal came for Wayne Rooney's current club DC United back in 2004. 14 years on, and the now 29-year-old Freddie Adu has played here, there and everywhere, from Benfica to Monaco, from Brazil to Serbia. His latest club is back in America, lining up for the Las Vegas Lights, who have 2 llama mascots called Dolly and Dotty. It's not quite the level Adu was expected to be playing at during his late 20s, but he'll always be the MLS's youngest ever scorer, until some mutant child with an eye for gold comes along and signs for New York Red Bulls. So that's the youngest scorer from 13 major divisions across world football. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.